When you go to hug a woman, never do this. Most men think a hug is just a hug, a simple, casual, socially polite gesture that carries no real weight. But here is what I want you to understand from the very beginning of this video. A hug is never just a hug. A hug is a conversation. It is one of the most honest and revealing moments of physical communication that happens between two people. And a woman reads that moment with a level of emotional precision that most men have never even considered. You may think the hug itself is the thing that matters. But what actually matters is everything you bring into it: your energy, your presence, your intention, your level of groundedness. She feels all of that before your arms even close around her. And depending on what she feels, she either opens a little more toward you or she quietly, invisibly closes. That is what this video is about. Not how to hug correctly as if there is some perfect technique to memorize, but how to understand what a hug actually communicates, what most men get wrong, and what creates the kind of warmth and closeness that draws a woman naturally, genuinely, deeper into connection with you. If this is the kind of understanding you want, the kind that goes beneath the surface and actually changes how you move through the world with women, then I invite you to subscribe. I talk about attraction, emotional intimacy, confidence, and what women truly respond to, not the performance of it, but the real embodied experience of it. Now, let us talk about what never to do. The first thing I want to address is hesitation. Not just the physical hesitation, though that matters too, but the deeper hesitation that comes before the hug even begins. You know the moment you are saying goodbye or you are greeting her, and there is this window where a hug would be natural. And instead of moving through it with ease, you pause. You do this almost imperceptible freeze. You overthink it. Should I hug her? Is it too soon? Will she be okay with it? And then you sort of half lean, half wait, and you make the whole moment feel like a question mark. Here is what she feels in that moment. She feels your uncertainty. She does not process it consciously, but emotionally, she registers that you are not sure of yourself. And what that communicates, underneath everything, is that you need her permission, not just for the hug, but for your own action. That you are waiting for her to lead, to make you feel safe, to give you a green light before you commit to anything. And I want to say this clearly because I know it may land a little strongly. A woman does not want to lead you through your own nervous system. She wants to feel that you are already there, that you are already arrived, that you are grounded enough that a hug is just a warm, natural, easy thing because you are a warm, natural, grounded person. Hesitation is not inherently wrong. It becomes a problem when it is rooted in anxiety rather than awareness. There is a difference between pausing because you are reading the moment carefully and pausing because you are afraid. One is presence, the other is self protection. She can feel the difference. The second thing, and this one I see so often that it has almost become a cliche, is the performance hug. This is the hug that is trying too hard to communicate something, the hug that is doing too much work. You have seen it, maybe you have done it. It is the hug that lingers 5 seconds too long, the hug that squeezes just a little too firmly as if intensity equals connection. The hug that holds on past the natural ending point because letting go feels like losing something. And I understand why it happens. A man is attracted to a woman. He wants to feel close to her. He wants her to know he is interested. And the hug feels like an opportunity to transmit all of that without having to say it out loud. So he pours it all into the hug. He makes the hug carry the weight of everything he has not been able to say. But here is what that actually feels like from the inside of it. It feels like pressure. Not dramatic, aggressive pressure, just this quiet, subtle sense of being pulled towards someone's emotional need. And women are extraordinarily sensitive to that pull. They can feel when a hug is about them and when a hug is really about you, when it is genuinely warm and easy, and when it is asking for something, even if you have not said a single word. This is where things change. A hug that feels good to a woman is a hug where she can feel your presence without feeling your hunger, where she can feel your warmth without feeling your desperation. The hug ends when it is naturally complete, not when you decide you have gotten enough from it. And then there is the third thing, which might actually be the subtlest and the most important. It is going through the physical motion of a hug while being completely absent from it. This is the man who hugs with his arms, but not with his attention, who is already thinking about what he is going to say next, or wondering if she likes him, or running some mental analysis of how the evening went. His body is there. He is there. But the actual quality of his presence, his full, settled, alive attention, is somewhere else entirely. A woman feels this more deeply than most men realize. Physical closeness without genuine presence is one of the most disorienting things a person can experience. It creates this strange, hollow feeling like you are being touched by someone who is not actually there. And over time, without her being able to articulate exactly why, she will feel less safe with you, less seen, less drawn toward intimacy. That is what most men miss. They focus entirely on the physical coordination of the hug, the timing, the angle, the duration. And they never once ask themselves, am I actually here right now? Am I fully arrived in this moment with this person? Full presence is not complicated, but it requires you to set down the mental noise for just a few seconds, to take a quiet breath, to feel your own feet on the ground, to look at her, actually look at her before you move toward her. That quality of settled, grounded attention is what transforms a hug from a social gesture into something that genuinely moves a woman emotionally. That is what creates trust. That is what makes her feel safe and open in your company. Now, the biggest mistake men make when they hear advice like this is that they immediately try to turn it into a new technique. They read everything I just said, and then they plan to pause meaningfully before every hug. They plan to hold with just the right amount of warmth and release at exactly the right second. They plan to look into her eyes with what they believe is genuine presence. And it becomes a performance of a different kind. A more sophisticated performance, maybe, but a performance nonetheless. And she will still feel it because the thing I am describing cannot be faked. Presence cannot be faked. Groundedness cannot be faked. The quality of your emotional availability is not a behavior you can layer on top of anxiety and insecurity. It comes from inside. It comes from actually doing the inner work, spending enough time with yourself that you are not a stranger to your own stillness, learning to be in a moment without needing it to be different, developing the kind of self-respect that means you do not need a hug to go perfectly in order to feel okay about yourself. The correct application of everything in this video is not a new set of rules. It is a new way of being, a slower, more embodied, more attentive way of inhabiting your own body and your own presence when you are near a woman you care about. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be effortlessly cool. Women are not looking for a man who never feels nervous or uncertain. They are looking for a man who can feel nervous and uncertain and still stay present, still stay himself, still move forward with warmth and ease, even when things are imperfect. That is what confidence actually looks like. Not the absence of vulnerability, but the willingness to remain grounded inside it. So the next time you go to hug a woman, not before the hug, not during, but right now while you are watching this, I want to offer you a single shift in how you think about it. Stop thinking about what you should do. Start thinking about who you want to be in that moment. A man who is calm, a man who is warm. A man who is fully present, not performing presence, but actually there. A man who gives without needing to take. A man whose touch communicates safety, ease, and genuine care. That is what creates attraction that lasts. That is what deepens connection over time. And that, more than any technique you will ever learn, is what a woman will remember long after the moment has passed. I hope this gave you something real to sit with. Not just something to do differently, but something to feel differently about yourself and the way you move through intimacy. If you want more of this kind of depth, the kind of understanding that actually changes how you experience yourself in relationships, please subscribe. Every week, I share insights about attraction, emotional connection, confidence, and what it really means to be the kind of man who creates meaningful, lasting intimacy. I would love to keep this conversation going with you.